Three. Hi everyone. Today on the Hunyah Show, we're talking about being an author. There are many people who desire to write a book. They start a book, but they unfortunately never complete it. Self-help books are popular today. Stacey Persad is the author of a self-help book called Transformation, Keep It Simple. Let's have Stacey tell us a little bit about her journey as an author. Welcome, Stacey Persad.
Thank you for having me here today. I am so excited to be here.
It's my pleasure to have you on the show. I know we've been coordinating it and you're finally here. So, Stacey, my first question is, how did you begin your journey as an author?
Oh boy. Okay, well, I love reading. And when I was younger, I read Nancy Drew and I thought about writing mystery. Then I got into reading Harlequin and I wanted to write romance. And for the longest time, I wanted to write romance novels. So I read widely. And at the end of it all, I always had a burning desire to write. It is just one of those desires that just kept surfacing. And when I was younger, as a means of expressing myself, my thoughts, my feelings, I used to dabble in simple poetry from, say, around my early teens. And the point of writing the poems was just to get my feelings out. Sometimes things just kept playing in my head, and finding a way to express it outwards really helped, right? So that's where sort of writing sort of started in my life. I had about 2 notebooks with poems expressing different parts of my life. I also kept diaries since I was around 14. And about 10 years ago, I got rid of all those poems and the diaries and everything. And some might ask, why? Why would you do that? And the thing is, most of the times when I wrote back then, there was something that was going on in life, something that was hurting, something that I needed to express. And when I reread those poems or the diaries, it took me back down that path. And I didn't like the feeling. So I needed a new start. Turn the page. Let's get rid of that. Right? Yes, there was hurtful things, but then there were love, issues with love, desires, so many other things. But I got rid of it, and I'm like, you know what? New start.
That's amazing.
Anyway, I found myself you need a new start, right? And to do that, you got to clean out the old. So I found myself on the spiritual journey. Somehow you get there. The universe is always working with us. And there was all this wonderful knowledge that I was soaking up. And it was really helping me look at life from a different perspective. I was starting to feel lighter after dropping off all those loaded issues. And what were some of those issues? I was worrying all the time. I was also a people pleaser. And that can be so stressful when you're always a people pleaser, worrying about what someone said, what they did, how did they look at you. And I was at the point with migraines and everything like that. And that was not healthy. I needed a change. On the same note, even though I had issues, I love helping people. So people used to always be coming to talk to me about stuff. And I thought, maybe one day I should be a counselor or a psychologist, or hold a position where I could contribute in some way to help others get through those challenging moments. Anyways, back in 2018, my mom had surgery. And I took some time off to care for her and the family. And I found myself dabbling in between. Again, I'm going back to expressing myself and feelings and thoughts and things that I had learned. And I found myself with all this information. I had some poems, I had some thoughts. It's like, what do I do with this? I mean, information is not meant to be stored. It's meant to be shared. And if it's something that can help someone, I should do something with this. But then I thought, oh my gosh, there's like so much self-help books out there. What would I do with this?
Self-help books are popular too. I agree. You sound like me, because I remember I have a craze for writing. Like that's for me, like that's when I actually started blogging, because I love to write. So I figured out books aren't my thing. Books came for me later on. So I can relate to you. You're telling something about like when you decided to write, right?
Yeah. So this is the start of when I wrote this recent book, Transformation, Keep It Simple. So it's all this little dabbling that led up to that. So anyways, you're always thinking, oh my gosh, there's like so much out there, so much self-help. What could I add now? But the thing is, I've always heard too that there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's nothing new under the sun, we have a different way of expressing things. And we have a wide variety of authors out there discussing the same topics, but from a different angle, from a different perspective, from a different storyline. And the way we express things might resonate with one person more than another. Like you might find that you're reading the same topic from two different authors, but one of them just, yeah, they just resonate so much more. Anyways, the whole point of it is I wanted to express things in a little bit of a different way, a simple manner. So I did it through sort of a poetic, very simple poetry to get the points across instead of using all those paragraphs again. And at the end of the poems, I like to put like contemplation questions or reflection questions. And the reason I do that is because most times we're looking for answers outside of ourselves. But I feel as the answers are within. We're just not asking ourselves the questions and sitting with it because we're so caught up in this busy world, all the noise and the distractions, and we're not really seeing that the answers in there. So, some people might look for in a book for an inspiration from a story for someone else. What I was trying to do, or what my aim in this book was, to put some questions forward for you to go within and really assess yourself. Just to wrap up on this point, the whole thing is no two persons really face a situation in the same way, right? Because we all have different perspectives that can influence how we see things. And this could be based on back.
I agree. I remember reading that. I remember reading that in college about that. I agree with you. That's a reading journey. And so Stacey, my next question is, what are some challenges a person might face when pursuing their dream to become an author?
That's a very interesting question. Now, many of us, we want to write a book and we get all excited, right? And that excitement can get quickly chipped away at for a number of reasons. And I'll only just discuss a few today. So say, for example, we might share a dream with someone and they end up telling you, oh, writing is such a waste of time. There is no money in it unless you make it big. Okay, how do I know if I can make it big if I don't try, right? So 9 out of your 10 friends would motivate you, but you'd have that one person who would say something to just break your spirit and the dream just goes up in smoke. And then, you're allowing that one demotivating comment to dampen your spirit and out your flame, right? So that's just one obstacle. Another one is like you start writing and then you have a lot of thoughts that creep into your mind. Like, oh my gosh, what if I can't find a publisher? Okay, well, if you can't find a traditional publisher, you can explore self-publishing, right? What if no one likes the book? Okay, so there will always be people who like something and there'll always be people who wouldn't like something, right? We have no control over that. We might get 10 comments, 9 might be amazing, but again, one comment that is not positive, you tend to take it and make it like, flood your whole world, right?
So many times, I agree. It's a thing we all go through when there's one negative comment, and it just ruins your day. And it's just like I'm actually a freelance editor and writer, micro-credentials program student in Sheridan College. And what I know is that we talk a lot about traditional publishing and self-help books, self-publishing, and how there's different challenges in all of them. Which dream did I know this wasn't in the questions that what we discussed earlier, but I have a question for you just to ask. Which streamline did you go for when you went to the publishing? Do you take traditional or do you take self-help publishing?
So I thought about it at that time and I really wanted to get out. So I went with the self-publishing for the book Transformation, Keep It Simple. But I think in future, when I go on to write the next one, I might weigh out for traditional. It depends on what I want and what I'm looking at that point. I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons with each. I guess you have to assess yourself at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So shall I continue with some of the challenges? So we're good
Yeah,
for that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So another thought that might go across someone's mind might be, what if I'm wasting my time when I should be doing something else that guarantees me income? Okay, but what if you didn't try? You will never know things work unless you try, right? I mean, if you really want to write, the biggest question to ask is why? Why do you want to write? You need a strong why in anything that you do in life. If your why isn't strong, you're not going to do it. You're not going to be motivated enough to follow through. And the last, I just have like about 2 more I can think about. So I'll try to make it really brief here. What if I fail? There is no failure. Not because something didn't work means you
It's always
failed.
try, right?
That's right. That's right. If it didn't work, what do I improve on and how do I make it better in future? I mean, if we do some research on some of the big name authors out there, they didn't have the smoothest start. Some of them self-published. Some of them had really bumpy roads. Some of them have so many rejection letters coming back. But if they didn't do it or start somewhere, they wouldn't know, right?
True.
The last one I just said,
out there. I agree. You have to put yourself out there somehow.
Yeah. And the thing is, we tend to see the end results. We see all the success, the glamour, the glitz, but what we don't realize is there was a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, a lot of frustration, a lot of hard work before someone could see the blossoming of their efforts, right? So yeah, so those are just some. I mean, there's so many more, but those are just a few. Yeah.
And Stacey, my third question is, what advice would you give to someone who likes to read self-help books? Because I personally love self-help books myself, and I've been reading. I read How to Win and Influence Friends. I read, I think, I think it was Big Something. It was from this writer who also wrote another self-help book. I forgot the name. So I read a few self-help books myself. Like, what would you say to someone who likes to read self-help books? That what should they do if they want to go into that streamline as you?
Yeah, that's another great question. I would say, so there are a few points coming to mind. I would say read widely, okay? Read different authors. As I was mentioning earlier, there's nothing new under the sun, but different people express things in different ways. So there might be similar topics that are expressed by different authors differently. One author's style might resonate better with you and really bring home the point. Or another author might challenge the topic and make you really think about it, right? Really contemplate, really reflect, right? The other thing is, I would say, be open-minded. So being open to different perspectives would mean opening your mind to new possibilities. Now, if you choose to be fixated on beliefs that you already have, then growth is challenged. So no one is saying to drop your beliefs and blindly accept another person's view, but question things. If something happened, question it. Why? Why is that like that? Contemplate, reflect. How does it apply to your life, right? So being open-minded is very important when you want to grow. And you got to listen without judgment, right? We're so quick to go good or bad or this or that. Try to be neutral, because nothing, in my opinion, I wouldn't say something is good or bad. So, some people say I'm having a bad day. For me, a day is just a day. We're just having some events in the day that we probably don't like or don't.
I've had so many days like that. Like, I can relate to you on that.
Yeah.
Suddenly you get this one email and then you're like, wow, that makes my day.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the final point I'll mention for this is we want to practice what we're reading. It's not just about, oh, this is good. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, my life.
You want to apply it.
That's right. So if there's a suggestion for journaling, try it. Try journaling and see how it works. If there's a suggestion for meditation or mindfulness or something like that, we gotta apply it. Now, I know there's some people say it takes 21 days to form a habit, right? Then
Right.
some might say 40 days. Then some might say something else, right? My suggestion is 1 day at a time. Get through today, aim for tomorrow.
I've heard
And
of the
add up.
Atomic Habits. It's 1% of each day. I remember, I think it was at work that we had to discuss that 1% a day. So I agree with you. So the 1%, like if you want to lose weight, if you want to get a job, if you want to volunteer work, if you want to do something productive, if you want to learn filmmaking, like the way how, like, even if you're a blogger and YouTuber, you're still learning filmmaking each day. So that 1%, like I agree.
Yep. So it's kind of like, think of a rope. Each strand on that rope could be like 1 day in your practice. And the more you put, the stronger that rope gets, right?
And Stacey, that brings me to my last question. Would you like to share your social media handles? Where can viewers find you if they want to connect with you? You want to guide them to being an author, checking out Transformative, Keep It Simple. Where can they find me?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and I do a bit of YouTube on a channel, PP Inspirations.
Wow, that's amazing. So everyone, thank you for watching the Hunyah Show. Today with me with Stacey Persad, author of Transformative, Keep It Help Simple. Be sure to check out Stacey and to connect with her on all social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. And be sure to check out Hunyah Travels, and be sure to like and subscribe to the Hunyah Show and Hunyah Travels. And I'll be here soon with another episode. So thank you. Bye.
Bye.